Hi guys, welcome back to another makeup video. Today I'm a bit stuck between two ideas, but the premise is based off of face paint. Now, there's this really cool look that I like that is a makeup look with a hole in the face with butterflies all around it. And I'm thinking of combining the face paint butterflies with that 3D concept of the hole in the face. And we'll see how that looks. But this video is going to be a voiceover, so you won't hear from me now till the outro. But I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, I'll talk you through the steps as I go along in the voiceover. Yeah, let's get straight into the video. So I'm just taking this Morphe concealer, and we're just starting with a bit of a base. I'm just doing a very light coverage under eye concealer, and I like to use this one because it's very skin tone coloured rather than lighter than the face. Normally with a full face of makeup I'll go in with a lighter concealer, but because this one near enough matches my skin tone, just go in with that. And then I'm just adding a bit of translucent powder just to set that in place. And then I'm just going in with this Beauty Bay powder bronzer and this long thick Studio London brush, and it's just so much easier to use than a long handle brush because it just stamps straight in the shape that you want it. And I'm just applying my normal bit of bronzer that I would if I didn't have like foundation on. And then here, this is just the Glossier Cloud Paint. I can't remember what shade name this is, but I only have two shades, it's just the lighter pink one. And I'm just going in with the same brush to blend that in on the cheeks because I'm lazy. So I'm just making sure that I have a nice glowy base on for underneath the makeup. And then here I'm taking my eyebrow NYX Lift and Snatch pen. Obviously I normally use it for my eyebrows, but I thought this would be good to start outlining the black cut or hole or whatever you call it that we're creating in the face from the inspiration photo. So I'm just using this very light gel pen, and I'm just sort of creating a jagged edge, and as you can see here I'm just going off of what I think it would look best, taking it up onto my nose a bit to add a bit more 3D than just on a cheek. And then up here you can see I'm sort of like creating some sharper points and some longer bits, almost as if it's torn paper or cracks in stone kind of effect. And then here I'm just taking this little Revolution palette, honestly because I'm lazy and it was the easiest palette to grab in my makeup bag. I'm just taking the black shade from here on a little flat brush from Morphe, and basically I'm just following the faint line that we created with the brown to start, and this is going to create the base of the whole look near enough. And I'm just taking that black powder and I'm following along the jagged line and then sort of blending it into the skin. And as you can see here, like I'm not going any further than maybe 1 to 2 centimeters into the space because we want there to still be skin colour in the hole. We don't want it to just look like a big black patch on the face. So yeah, I'm just stamping it in on the pattern that we've already drawn and blending that into the face, and it's a very light version of a black, but that's fine because that's exactly what we need to create the shadow that we want. And just making sure that's all blended into the skin colour nicely. And then I'm just taking this very fine face painting brush, this is from Kryolan, and just a black face paint, and basically we're just going over the edges with the black paint where we originally did with the brown brow pencil. And my aim here was to blend that black line into the black shadow just to create more of a dark crisp edge into a seamless smoky grey blend that we'd already created. But as you can see it didn't really work for me because I'd let it dry too quick, so I sort of just gave up here and carried on tracing the line just to make sure we had that crisp cut edge. And then here I decided to go back in and attempt to blend, and I actually caught it while it was still drying this time. So managed to blend it out exactly as we wanted, and you can sort of just see how it creates the dark edge as if there is like a cut almost, and then it blends into that smoky colour we created earlier. And then I'm just literally going back in, adding a bit more black over the outline already and blending that in to get what we already wanted. And then this is me with it all done. I got too lazy to do it on camera, so we just took that off camera, and then I'm just switching to a white paint with the same fine brush, and basically I'm going round the outer edge of the black that we drew with a white paint, and this sort of just creates a highlight on the edges, and in my opinion it makes it look a bit like it's torn paper, but this was just purely reiterated from the inspiration photo, and I just thought it looked cool. And even though it looked effective enough without the white, this just adds that tiny little touch. So I was just going, literally tracing the exact line around the outer bit with the white. And then I'm just going in with a bit more white after we've done the outline, and just putting a bit like a blob, and then blending it almost so that the highlight is blended into the skin. It just creates some areas of brightness around the edge, and it really gives it that 3D effect. So I'm almost just going all the way around and just picking and choosing where I feel looks right to put them. And then after we created the whole successfully, I'm going in with a white and a blue face paint, and the blue face paint is my Superstar face paint. And here, this pattern that you've just seen on the brush that I've created for the butterflies, basically just swirl the brush directly in white paint and then dip the end in the blue paint, and you will get white in your blue paint, but that's how we create this sort of double coloured ombre. And then I'm just stamping the shape of the brush onto my face in the shape of butterfly wings. And I'm not going to lie, this butterfly wasn't my favourite, which I think I'll show you a bit later on in the video. But copying the inspiration image of the face paint, we sort of tried to add these third wings at the top, but really I should have gone in with the third wings as the first wings and drawn the butterfly downwards rather than going back up to the top, because I didn't achieve the shape that I wanted, but it was fine. And then, as you can see, I went in with the body off camera, which I'll show you now on this much better butterfly. So I've just taken a darker blue Superstar face paint, and I'm just drawing the body, as you can see, a little circle and a line. And then here, I didn't like the antenna that I drew, so we can wipe it off up there because there's nothing underneath it. And then these are the better antenna. Just going in very lightly with brush strokes. And then that's all 3 butterflies done, and we're going in with some different colours. Starting with the pink, and we're doing the same technique on the brush with the white and the pink to create some flowers. And honestly, this is sort of just based off of preference of where I want to put it, sort of just trial and error, but it's already on the skin, so that's where it goes. And just stamping it around in the shape of a flower like we did the butterfly. And I mean, this is a pretty simple face painting technique if you're a face painter. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing. And then I do go back in and just correct up the edge of the petals a bit, because I just wanted it to be a bit more refined, and I didn't achieve that originally with the brush. And then we just go in with a tiny brush and some white to add some little dots for pollen, just a little pattern in the middle of the flower. And then for my next flower I'm doing the same colours, but I've switched to a smaller brush because then we can get a variety of shapes and sizes. And yeah, I'm basically just picking and choosing where I put them, where I think it will be nice to fill up the space, etc. And I just decided to add a few random petals, like almost falling off the flower. And I'm not sure what this achieved, but it's just where my mind went when we did it, so we left it on. And then here I've switched to a purple and white, and I used a dark purple because I found that the white lightened it up enough anyway, so we didn't go in with that light purple shade that I showed you at the start, and I really liked how this flower turned out. It was probably my favourite one. And again, going in with some little fallen petals. And as you can see, I really liked how that turned out, so I've gone in with another white and purple flower. And here I decided to do like a little trio thing, so I went in with different sizes, just by stamping lighter or switching to a smaller brush. And I believe all of these 3 flowers that I'm creating here were done with the same product on the brush. I didn't reapply the product because you really get that white and the purple on there and it lasts for a good bit of application. And then I'm just going in with those little white dots in the centres of the flowers and just adding 1 or 2 to the floating petals like we did on the original flower. Now I'm switching to a bit of a bigger brush with white on, and we're almost just creating these dots, like accent dots. And you see this a lot in face painting as well. You always start with a bigger dot and you go down to the smallest dot. Normally it's 3, sometimes it's more. I just thought this would add a bit more to the makeup, and down the bottom I sort of went for some sort of pop arty looking thing, but it looks cool. And then adding in just a few random dots here or there, almost like you would gems. And then finally I went in with these little diamond stars, which I'll show you how to do in a second. Using a very small brush, I sort of just go in with 2 lines in the shape of a cross, and then you just join them together with these little curved lines. It's very intricate, but once you get the hang of it, it's completely fine. And it just makes the look even cuter than it already was. So this was almost just trial and error, just keep on adding until I thought the look was completely done and it had enough on. And I really like how it turned out. Now that that's done, I'm just going in with this Revolution highlighter to give the look a bit of a shine. Going in on both sides of the face, the plain side and the creative side. Just giving it a bit more glow and shimmer to make it look pretty. Then lips, we're going in with this MAC lip liner, which I believe is in the shade Soar. It's the one I always use in my videos, so you'll have seen the shade name before. But just lining my lips, and I did go in with a brown before this, but I did not like how it looked, so I removed that part from the video and we went back in with the nice pink and just getting that colour on my lips and lining them like I normally do. Ready to go in with a clear gloss over top. And I did realise that this lip gloss has actually still got black on the end of the brush from when we did that snake makeup look a few videos back, but I realised there and just removed it from the end because we didn't want black ruining this lipstick. And that is the finished makeup from today's video, and I really love how it turned out, so I'll just show you some clips here. So guys, that is the finished makeup. I really hope you enjoyed this very impromptu, improvised makeup look, as you can see obviously. And as I explained through the video, we went in with both ideas I had at the start. I don't know if I'll be able to have inserted them in at any point because the face painting part was inspired by a face paint that was on a child, and obviously, even though the photo's online, it's not mine to share. fun, cute, very bright look. And yeah, I think it's got a bit of meaning behind it. But yeah, that is today's video. I hope you enjoyed this makeup look. And don't forget to check out all my social medias in the description box below if you want to see more. Obviously, this will be up over on my TikTok and my Instagram as well. And yeah, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you feel like it. And I will see you guys back here next week for another makeup video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.